Good morning. I'm Marla Ellerman. I'm publisher of Mobile Marketing and Technology Online. We're here at Transact 16 with Heather Petersen, who's CEO of National Merchants Association. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Marla.
Let's just start off by tell us about your company, because I think you kind of do two different things for the industry, correct?
No, we're largely just a merchant processor. We are first and foremost a merchant advocacy group, if that's what you mean by the two different things.
Yes.
So we first and foremost are a merchant advocacy group. We work on behalf of small businesses to eliminate the unnecessary fees and knowledge, educate them on merchant processing. In addition to that, we are a processor, so that is where it can be confusing sometimes.
Okay.
But we became a processor by proxy because we understood that our merchants were asking for certain consultative services that we weren't able to provide as just a broker, and that's why we decided to go ahead and become a processor.
So you were basically a consultant first for the merchants, helping them make decisions on who they should work with, and then you saw the opportunity to become a processor.
Right, exactly. And I got into the business actually by being a 1099 sales agent for several of the people who are still in the room today.
Oh, that's great. And how old is the company?
We began in 2004. That's when I was a 1099 agent, and then in 2006 we actually incorporated and become a real company.
Oh, that's great. That's a true success story, and it's awesome that you're a woman and you're able to be successful in this male-dominated industry.
Yeah, it has been interesting. Thankfully, for due to the support of other notorious women within the industry and the WNet and things like that, it's been a lot easier than it probably was 15 years ago.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I'm just going to jump into some of my questions. What are the biggest myths around EMV adoption among the small to medium-sized retailers?
Well, one, I don't need it. Two, I'm not a target. Because we largely focus in the small business community, it's a lot of grassroots marketing and a lot of small towns, which are really our target audience. And they are the merchants who think, oh, I've never had fraud. I'm not a target for fraud. Well, unfortunately, with this EMV migration, they absolutely are now the fraudsters' target, because the fraudsters are literally targeting businesses that have not yet become EMV compliant.
Right, because they're super smart, and because the big guys now are compliant, they are going to go after the small to medium-sized businesses. So help me understand this. I believe that when that happens, the liability is on the merchants. It's the merchant's responsibility, correct?
It is, and that is providing that they are EMV compliant and that they have, taken an EMV chip card. The liability is on them if they are EMV compliant and they do not take the EMV chip card, which is sadly the case with a lot of the rollout plans right now, especially with a lot of smaller ISO and agent offices. They've deployed this equipment, but they haven't downloaded the software appropriately. So the merchant, the processor is assuming that the merchant is now EMV compliant, and by the way, that liability has now shifted to that merchant. Unfortunately, they've not done the software download, so they're not protecting themselves anyway.
And that's what you're going to be rolling out at your partners conference, is to help educate them to make sure that they are doing things correctly. Correct?
Absolutely, yes. And it starts with not just the agents, but the consumers. So part of our rollout campaign actually includes a little bit of showing consumers how to use the chip.
Yeah, great.
There's plenty of those commercials out there, right? Already, a lot of people are doing them. It's just we don't think that small merchants are really paying attention to that because of the myths and the perception that it doesn't affect me. It's not a concern.
I'm going to ask like an off-the-wall question here that I haven't asked anybody. How much does it really cost a small merchant to be compliant? Is it really that expensive for them to do that?
It's not at all. Actually, it's a little bit of time in downloading the software. Possibly, some processors are selling new equipment. One of the greatest things that we've got going on right now is the adoption of NFC, right? Apple Pay. This is an excellent opportunity for us as processors and agents to once again gain a little bit of a competitive edge and offer a product that we can sell again, as opposed to pricing, right? It's not about reducing pricing now. Let's talk to merchants about upgrading their equipment. Equipment is not that expensive.
Right.
Less than $500, you can have a brand new setup that is EMV compliant and has the NFC capabilities.
So that's so interesting why they wouldn't want to do that. I think it's just more of an education.
Absolutely.
What's the impact of EMV on mobile payments?
So again, I'll come back to the NFC conversation I was just having, and I think that's it's time to join forces, and it's an excellent opportunity to be able to produce a little bit more with mobile payments or get a little bit more traction with that because of things like the NFC because of the EMV migration. I think it's just an excellent opportunity to combine two really great new products to the payments ecosystem.
What is the impact of ENV on mobile payments?
So I think it's an excellent time to combine forces and really collaborate and have those two products kind of walk hand in hand with, into the new payments ecosystem. I think it's a great opportunity for the entire industry to be able to adopt kind of two new programs at once.
Okay, and what trends are you seeing in mobile payments like Apple Pay, others, and the adoption rate?
Well, I think Apple just released information about their iWatch and how sales were down, and they were a little disappointed in that, so they're revamping it and coming back out with a new product. So I certainly think that large retailers that are, kind of helping us introduce mobile payments are affecting that adoption rate a little bit. The good news is I think the millennials will actually bring mobile payments really forward and really make it, a requirement. Things like the Starbucks apps and, other apps that kids these days have. It's amazing to me.
Yeah, they know how to use the phone too. Is mobile a big part of your business, and do you see that increasing?
It's not actually a big part of our business just yet because of the grassroots marketing and the small town vibe that we work in. Again, those merchants are slower to adopt. Those consumers are a little slower to adopt, and it's one of those perceptions where they don't feel like they need it. So we are trying to increase awareness with that. Part of our 5-campaign model that I was just mentioning from the Transact plan includes a mobile wallet push.
What types of mobile fraud are users and merchants facing?
I think that's actually one of the most interesting factors in this whole mobile payments progression. And I think that's why a lot of consumers aren't adopting it yet. I know I've got my Apple Watch on right now, and if I just dropped it, somebody could pick this up and they could literally go get coffee on me or, pull up my American Express and charge it.
Wow. Yeah, don't let anybody see that. What are the new programs that you guys are rolling out for the agents?
The transaction plan is the most exciting, and that's the program I've been referencing before. And that's where we're rolling out 5 campaigns for them. We're sending qualified leads, and we're doing a lot of advertising for them. So we think it's going to go over really well.
That's great. And don't you have plans to invest $20 million?
We did release that. I think that dropped a couple days earlier. We were hoping to make that after ETA, but that's okay. It was great timing. It stirred up a lot of conversations here for sure. We do have plans to invest $20 million into merchant portfolio acquisitions this year. And really, we're looking for those with higher attrition rates. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but the reason being is that we really have an opportunity, we think, to save those merchants. Being the merchant advocacy group, we really think that's where our opportunities are, saving those merchants and helping improve the perception of merchant processing to merchants.
So then with the $20 million, what's that money going to be? What are you doing with that? Are you going to go in and buy merchants? Are you going to help them get update equipment?
So we're actually purchasing portfolios from agents.
Got it.
Yeah, so we're buying books of businesses that, sometimes the agents are 1 to 5 people, operating trying to manage an entire portfolio, and after a few years, that can get out of hand. They don't have the bandwidth or the resources to continue to manage that adequately. Those are the ones we're looking for. We're looking for those agents that need a little help managing it from a customer service perspective so that we can come in and help improve attrition.
So do you have any other questions?
I do. What are some of the biggest issues that your readers are talking to you about?
I'll tell you what my readers are talking about, and the vibe that I got from the show here is the ENV, the shift in responsibility back in October, that just like you and the concerns, a lot of the small to medium-sized businesses are not compliant. They don't understand that the fraudsters are going to be coming after them. And I think that you are one of the few companies that really care about educating the small to medium-sized businesses, because I don't think they really realize what's going to happen to them.
Yeah, I agree with you, Marla. In your opinion, what do you think mobile payments looks like in 10 years?
I think I'm betting on the mobile payment industry really growing, and I think that anybody who wants to play in the payment space, I think that if not 50% or more of their business is focused on mobile, they're going to be making a big mistake. That's what I think.
That's a good prediction.
But,
All right.
anyways, but is that it? Do you want to add
Yeah.
anything else?
No, I think this has been great. I appreciate the time. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, and I think you're a huge success story, and I can't wait to watch you guys and see you guys grow.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching.